What up, y'all? I'm back in my kitchen and off the fondant. This one was definitely a damn doozy. But we back in the kitchen and I wanted something kind of savory and sweet. So guess what we gonna make? We gonna make a jerk chicken barbecue pizza. Let's do it! Alright, y'all, so we're gonna start with the jerk chicken, cut it on up nice and fine like that. Then we're gonna put it in a bowl. We're gonna chop our red onion, cilantro, get those onion slices like that. We're gonna slice our bread into 2 halves. Then we're gonna make our olive oil stuff. So we're gonna put garlic, onion powder, garlic powder, and parsley. But add minced garlic, give it a mix. We're gonna put that on the bread. It should look like that. Now we're gonna work on our barbecue. That's ketchup, mustard, apple cider vinegar. That's the top full. Then we're gonna add some honey up in there. Measure with your heart. And then we're gonna add that Worcestershire sauce or Worcestershire, however you say it. Then we're gonna add a lot of brown sugar. You wanna add a lot. I'd say about a good handful or 2. Then you're gonna add that liquid smoke to give it that smoky flavor for your barbecue sauce. Then we're gonna add garlic in there. Then we're gonna add our onion powder, our slap your mama. That's a key staple in this, just to give it that kick and to make it salty a little bit. Then we're gonna add that minced garlic. Can't hurt. Love a good garlic. Then your sauce should look like that. Once you get finished, we spread the oil on the bread there. I forgot to add our little jerk seasoning that came with the meal in there for that kick. Then we're gonna slide that barbecue sauce all on the bread after we took it out the oven for a little bit. Put that cheese. Then we're gonna add our chicken, that jerk chicken, and under the cheese and stuff like that. Then we're gonna add our sliced red onion on there. Get it looking pretty. Then we're gonna put that cilantro. And I had put like provolone cheese and a mixture of Kobe Jack and cheddar. And after broiling it for like 5 to 6 minutes, that's what it looked like. Thank y'all. Enjoy.